everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is actually an impromptu video. I didn't plan to do this. I'm actually at my house right now. I'm not in my salon, but I'm gonna film a video right now about how to properly curl your hair. And this is a mannequin that I got a couple of months ago. This is usually how mannequin heads come. The hair is just kind of stringy. This is cringe. And so I was like, I can't, like I need to cut this girl's hair. And so I was like, well, might as well film it. So that is what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna show you guys how to do a basic, but not so basic, layered haircut. If you have never seen me before in your entire life, my name is Brittney Gray. I'm owner and stylist at FAVES Beauty Studio. Like I said, this video is completely impromptu, so I don't have like my proper cutting shears and everything, but I do have cutting shears and like clips. I have the basics to do a haircut. That is what we're gonna do today. So without further ado, let's get into the video now. Before I begin, let me tell you a little bit about this mannequin. I ordered her from Amazon, and I actually just ordered this stand this week and it was just delivered today, so I was like, perfect. And I will leave links down below to this mannequin head and this stand because both are super affordable, and I think that it's great for any student out there, and then also if you're just a hairdresser and you just want mannequin heads to practice. The way I typically begin a haircut, just to see kind of where their hair naturally parts, is I'll brush their hair back like this and then kind of push it forward. And as you can see, obviously she's not a human being, but a lot of people just have a natural part in their hair. And so hers is approximately right there. So I like to base my haircuts generally off of the way a person's hair naturally parts. I like to do that because you have to keep in mind that like you can do a severe part on a client, like just cut it to go that way or cut it to go whatever way, but you have to keep in mind that they're gonna leave your chair, they're gonna leave the salon, and then they need to do their hair at home. The best thing to do is just do the haircut based off of how the client's hair naturally falls. Oh, and on another note, as you will notice in this video, I cut hair dry. The reason why I cut dry is because you can kind of see what the client's hair is gonna do when it's dry. Dry hair just shows the natural growth pattern more, just the natural texture of the client's hair, just like little weird, not weird, but you know those unique growth patterns and textures that we all have in our hair individually. Sorry, this is like a long intro, but another reason why I cut dry is because, especially for you curly girls out there, sometimes, especially if your hair is curly and it's wet, you know, you're combing it, you're cutting it, and then when all is said and done, it might be shorter than what you plan to cut, and then it might be shorter than what the client likes, and then you know that's opening up a whole other can of worms. So you don't you don't want to do that. That's just my personal preference, and this is why I cut dry most of the time. The first thing I'm going to do is section the hair. Find where the apex of the head is, like the highest point, which is about right there on her, and then all you're going to do is part it, and it will like be slightly diagonal toward the front. See how that's slightly diagonal? Because you want to keep in mind that, you know, the head isn't a flat plane. You're not drawing on a flat piece of paper. You're parting on a thing that has curve, if that makes sense. I typically part at like the highest point of the ear. So highest point of the head, highest point of the ear is there. I personally do not part in 4, I part in 2. So you have the front piece there, and then I just leave the back out all in one section, and this is what we're gonna work with first. So I'm gonna show you like the technical way to cut, but then I'm also gonna show you just a little bit of my personal style and way of doing things, because I don't do everything like, you know, textbook. And that's just how it is. When you're in beauty school, you learn how to do things like the super technical way, but then when you're out on your own, you don't do it like that. These are not my typical shears. These are actually like my beauty school shears. So let's see how this haircut comes out. So I will take a section like that from the center of that nape. I want to keep her hair pretty long, just so that way I have options, you know, in case I want to play with her and do like an updo or something like that. Now, it is a little bit more difficult to cut a floating head because they don't have a back for you to press the hair up against. So I'm just going to go back Make sure that this is even. Always double check your work, make sure it's even. Like this side's a little bit longer, so I'm gonna go back, and then when you go back, you'll see like where you went wrong. And these shears are like super dull, by the way. So now that we have a strong guideline down here, I'm gonna take some more of this hair down. You can either, you know, if the client has thick hair, you can do it like in a smaller section, but for the most part, her hair is pretty much thin down here. And then you can see like the transparency through the top layer and the bottom layer. You can see your guideline. And then you just cut. So this is the length of her hair. So I'm gonna turn her around. Continue with that guideline that you had at the bottom, and then match the front with the back. Do the same thing on the other side. You wanna make sure in the front that the pieces, you grab them, like see her ears are there? Just grab the pieces right there and make sure that it's even. So that way when her hair in the front, so when it's laying like that, you can see that it's even. I'm gonna begin cutting her layers. So see her profile is there. Okay, if you need to section the hair or anything like that, then go ahead and do that. But again, where her apex is, I'm gonna take a curved part like this. Again, I don't work in, you wanna not work like in completely straight lines. This is, you want to work in like a curved line, just because again the head is round. It's not a flat like piece of paper or something, unless the client's head is flat in the back. So just pull it up, and I want the layers to be like that, so I just pull it up there. You guys see that? Yeah, and then cut. And you can kind of like play with it to see where you want like the shortest layer to fall. But so right now the shortest piece is falling about there, and I think I want her to have a little bit more layer edge to her hair. So again, take this section, and I do this with clients too. Like sometimes I'll cut a little bit, and then I'll go back and say like, no, I want her layers, or I want, you know, her hair in the back, like where the crown is, I want it to have more volume. So I'll go in and cut the layers even shorter. Another way to kind of see where you want your like shortest pieces to fall is you can get, again, here's her profile. You can get like a piece here and then just pull it and say like this is the shape of her head, right? You can just say like, I want it to fall like here. That's where I want her to fall. So then you know you gotta cut about, you know, that much off. So again, I'm gonna take the section in the back. I'm gonna pull it up. And I see where I want her layer to start. And now see how I cut the shortest piece here. I cut the most length off of here, but I didn't cut that. If you just cut straight and you cut this, see how like the way that I cut it, it's gonna fall and cascade beautifully, and it's gonna blend. I think a lot of people make the mistake of getting hair like this and then they just cut everything off, and then that's what creates what's called shelves. Like, you know how sometimes people have layers, or you might be watching, you have these kind of layers where it's just literally like this doesn't cascade and blend beautifully. You know what I'm saying? See how that just, it all makes sense, it all blends beautifully. And then, I mean, we're not done yet, but then you know how sometimes people have like a layer like that, it's like chopped. See, you know, you have to just pay attention to what you're doing. Same kind of parting with the same section, but this time I'm taking like the nape of her hair. And then I'm gonna bring this up. Okay, and just connect those layers without taking the length off. Now, in order to match the layers on the side, I'm going to get her ears there. So I'm getting this here, making a curved section again. So this is important, you guys. Like, you don't want to pull too forward that way. I like to kind of pull it back a little bit just because it leaves some length, so that way you're not cutting, you don't end up cutting too much like in this area because her ear is there. You don't want it to have like a hole in her ear. Not literally, but like where her hair falls near her ear. Now, I'm gonna grab this. So I'm leaving all of this out in this area here and like around her ear. I'm leaving this out. I'm not including it in the layer that I'm gonna cut because I do not want to cut length off of this, because that's another mistake that a lot of people make. They'll take sections like this and end up cutting length. And that's why sometimes you'll have a haircut where it's a little bit shorter where the ear is. It's a little naked there, and it just doesn't frame the face well. And it's because the length has been cut when you really should just be cutting the layers. Okay, I'm gonna finish the other side here and I'll be right back. So now that we are at the front of her hair, I clip this part up here. What I like to do to create like some face framing pieces is I'll do like a diagonal section here. I'll just brush it forward and then I'll just kind of lightly dust it. These shears, again, are not the best. They're kind of dull, so it's kind of hard for me to demonstrate that, but you guys will get the picture. So now she has like these beautiful pieces here. If you want, you can do these pieces in the front, these like very delicate pieces, a little bit shorter, especially like if, you know, sometimes I get people who have like very long hair here and they want a little bit of that, a little bit more pieces in the front, because like it just looks pretty like when you wear your hair up and you have little pieces like that versus when they're super long. So that's how you create that. And then you can match it, pull it down here, and then see this little corner here? Cut that off. Again, because you want the whole haircut to blend and flow. I'm gonna take a piece here. I'm creating a diagonal line with my fingers, and then I'm gonna cut any corners off. I want it to be more of like a curve, so that way it cascades. Another thing you can do is take this piece, and I like to bring it like at this angle here, and then I will cut a little bit here. And what that creates is just like a cascade. See that? I want this to be a little bit shorter because she has a very strong growth pattern that wants to go forward. So I'm gonna make that a little bit shorter. I'm gonna cut this side. So you're just taking the fringe area and matching it up with that back layer there, pulling it to the back, and then cutting off whatever is hanging out. See, she has some beautiful layers going. And the same thing on this side, I'm going to create those nice little beautiful face framing pieces, and I'll be right back. Now with the layers, all you gotta do to make sure like it's balanced is just take pieces like this, hold it up, and then they should be even. And if it's not even, then just go through, cross-check your work, and make sure that it is. So like I said, I think I'm gonna give her a little bit of a fringe just because like I can't with her growth pattern. In my ideal world, I would just like honestly cut her bangs straight across, just because look at how flat her hair is like implanted into her head. But yeah, so let me actually try to work with this. All right, so what had happened was I said I was not going to cut her bangs, but I actually just did a live stream on my Instagram while I was kind of like doing some finishing touches on her hair. And I asked you guys if I should just go ahead and give her bangs, and you guys are like, yeah, just do it, just do it. So then I did it. So she has bangs now. She has a little bit of wave to her hair right now because on my live stream I just curled it just for fun. So I gave her bangs in the front, but we're just going to pay attention again to the main point of this lesson, if you will, which is layers. Go through and kind of cross-check your work. So a little bit there. Make sure everything is nice and even. Beautiful. Then you want to check the length in the front, make sure that's even, make sure everything is even here. And that is how you create basic layers in hair. I did go in and take some pieces and cut into it like that, just to create a little bit more texture in her hair. And I think that she looks so cool, right? Don't you agree? So this has actually been a very therapeutic video to make. So I think I'm gonna buy some more of these mannequin heads and then do more of these videos with mannequin heads because I really enjoyed giving her a makeover. Okay, so that is it for this video. Comment down below and let me know if you learned something. I hope that you did. If you didn't, tell me what I can do better for my next video so that way you can maybe grasp it more. If you are not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. I upload new videos every single week. And then also catch me on Instagram. Also join my hair group on Facebook, but the links to everything will be left down below. So that is it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And then you guys will see me in my next. Bye.